Hey, everybody, welcome to This Week on the Soundstage here with Kyle from NLFX. Here with my good friend Brent Robertson. We'll get all into it, all that sort of thing. So, Brent, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from?
Yeah. My name is Brent from Rochester, Minnesota. So not too far away from Paul Bunyan land, but
No?
we're about 4 hours away, 5 hours away from you guys, I think, something like that.
Yeah, I think about four is about right, yeah.
Yep. No, so southeastern Minnesota, we don't have much down here except for cornfields and just a small hospital. But that's
Yeah,
about
it's like a salad dressing kind of thing. Like it's
yeah,
like
that's
the mayo.
right. Yeah, actually, I went to Mayo High School, so I got that a lot actually. Right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I actually used to not live all that far from you, to be honest. I used to live in a little town called Lake Mills, Iowa.
Okay.
And so when you're driving down I-35, you got the Diamond Joe Casino.
That's about it. That's all it's there.
So Diamond Joe Casino go 11 miles west, and
Okay.
that's where I used to live. So we
Gotcha.
used to go to I used to go to Rochester all the time to go to Costco. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I think there's people from lacrosse come here all the time for the Costco, right? So,
yeah, it's hey, got to be known for something.
right?
Aside from the Mayo Clinic, obviously.
Yeah.
So, I see a thing on your on there. So, Ever After Entertainment, are you a solo op or are you a multi op? How do you roll in on business?
Yeah, we started as solo op. I started this back in 2017. And now we've got about 10 DJs here in Rochester and about four over in lacrosse. So
Wow,
couple different areas.
no, that's awesome. Growing big. That's really good.
Yeah.
So it's 2017. Is that when you started DJing, or did you start before that and you came into it?
And the first wedding I ever did was back in 2010. And I wouldn't say I actually DJ'd it. More, I just press played on a iTunes Apple Music playlist, right?
Okay. Now, were you going from a laptop, or were you doing? So I did iPods for a while.
Nope, it was straight MacBook Pro back in 2010. So
Oof,
right, it
big.
was
You had big money back then.
no, it wasn't even my laptop. It was a friend of mine's. He just asked me to basically be the guy that pressed play and
Nice.
yeah, it was not up to today's standards at all, but that's how I got started.
Yeah, maybe a little better. Who knows?
Right.
Um, so so what is it in 2010 that kind of got you hooked? Did you do a few here and there until
No,
2017, or just
honestly, 2010 was just helping out a buddy, and then
okay?
I actually didn't get started DJing until 2015. Ironically enough, I got divorced that year, and I worked at Spectrum. We were selling cable to businesses, internet to businesses, and a coworker of mine said, "Hey, do you want to DJ these weddings?" And I said, "Absolutely not. I'm never going to another wedding as long as I live." And but I was sitting in my house with, I kept the house. She took the furniture. So literally had a lawn chair and a 19-inch TV on a Saturday night. And I kind of thought to myself, all right, I got to get out of the house because I'm going to go crazy. And long story short, I started DJing for him back in 2015 and then started up Ever After Entertainment in 2017.
That's a really cool story. So, so you started as a solo op. How long did it take you to get into the multi op, all that kind of stuff?
Honestly, the referrals were coming in. So it's like I just found another person to help out. And, we didn't do a ton that first year, but now this year we're looking at 315 weddings as a company. So
Dang.
it turned into a thing.
Yeah.
So
Real fast.
it turned
No,
into
that's awesome.
a real job, as I say.
Yeah, that's really cool. So as you think back over the time that you've done this, and obviously, 2024, you got 315 weddings, all that kind of stuff. So what is it week in and week out that keeps bringing you back? What is it? Obviously, being your own boss, all that kind of stuff is awesome. But what is it that just kind of brings you back?
I mean, being your own boss is definitely part of it. I mean, I worked in a cubicle for about 6 years at Spectrum, and being your own boss is definitely a huge draw. But I think it's just being around people on one of their greatest days of their lives, and they're just having fun, and it's just a fun job. I mean, it's just super fun. And the idea when I first started was that I'd have way more free time during the week. But, as you get bigger and have more to manage, that's kind of an illusion. Like you're still just as busy as ever. But it's got its opportunities for work-life balance.
Yeah, well, and I think it's also a little easier you find it easier to work 16-hour days if you're doing it for yourself rather than doing a 16-hour day for somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, you just kind of justify in your brain, well, this is what it takes, this is what I got to do to get it done. When you're doing it for somebody else, you're just like, come on, like, I want to go home, I want to see my family, I want to do
Yeah.
this, all that kind of stuff. So no, I totally get that.
I put myself on the schedule for about 10 weddings next year instead of 40. So that'll be better. And that'll
Yeah,
help with that work-life balance a little bit. But
for sure, that helps a ton. So what is it that you guys do at Ever After that you try to do to stick out a little bit from your competition? I know Rochester's a growing area. When I used to work up that way, I actually worked for a bank, and we had uh, a branch in Rochester. So I understand how much that is booming, especially with that new destination Mayo that they're doing and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a much bigger market and all that kind of stuff. So what is it that you guys are starting to do to try to stick out and all that kind of stuff?
honestly, I think, the majority of the business comes from referrals, right? So it's honestly just making sure that every customer has a great experience with us. And I've stolen some ideas from David Osborne, and one of them is that whole idea of sharing joy, serving others, and I think that really boils down to what it's all about for us, anyways. So that's really what we try to do on every event is be happy for them, share their joy, and serve them, and have a great time with them. So
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good philosophy to take into it. So do you have a lot of have you had a lot of turnover in your thing, or do you have a guy who's been with you since 2018, 2019 that's
yeah, actually,
been kind of rolling with you?
we've we haven't had too much turnover. A lot of the guys that have been with us from the start have stayed with us, which is cool. Um, so yeah, there hasn't been a ton of turnover. There's been some,
Yeah.
but we just keep moving forward.
No, that's awesome. Um, so thinking about all the weddings that you've done through building up the company, doing all that kind of stuff. Obviously, the awesome one you did back in 2010 that started you on this crazy path. Do you have like that special memory, like a real core memory of something that sticks out, of something that happened at a wedding, or a moment, or an event, or things like that you just think about all the time? Or
Honestly, I think every wedding has its own little moment like that. Whether or not, I mean, there's been some cool stuff. Like I did a wedding back in 2017. It was a New Year's Eve wedding. Those guys just last year, they were in another wedding that I did, but this time they, instead of being the bride and groom like they were in 2017, they were walking their son and baby daughter down the aisle as the ring bearer and flower girl. So
oh,
um,
that's cool.
I just think it's cool because you just get to connect with people, and every wedding you end up making new friends, and it's cool to walk around town and someone's like, oh, hey, I saw you at that wedding, right? It's just kind of, I don't know, I enjoy that part of it.
Yeah, it's really nice. And then I also do like that whole thing, like you did this wedding for these people, but then now 4, 5, 6 years down the road, you're doing it for their sibling, or
Yeah.
one of their friends is getting married, and so they recommend you, and they come up, and you still recommend remember who they are and all that kind of stuff, and it's just a ton of fun to go through and talk with them, and like you said, create those relationships. It's really neat.
It's kind of funny. There was my wife works at the clinic. She works at Mayo, and one of her coworkers has been to 5 weddings where I've been the DJ this summer, which is kind of hilarious.
Just this summer.
Just this
Oh
summer.
wow, okay.
She's been to 5, and I've been the DJ for just about all of them. So it's kind of funny. So I think it's cool. You just have those connections, and you get to, like you say, not repeat customers, but you help out the sibling or family friend or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and I think also those ones kind of test you a little bit as a DJ, because some of it we hey, this really works for this part of the wedding,
Yeah,
and so you play this group of songs with this group of thing and all this, and you're just like, oh man, these people have been to 3 weddings over the past 4 weeks. I got to do something different, or they're just gonna think I'm a one trick pony and
yeah,
all that kind of stuff. She's got to dive a little deeper into the Rolodex and all that kind of stuff. So
exactly.
no, that's a ton of fun. Um, so some of the nitty gritty, all that kind of stuff that we always like to talk about is what kind of stuff do you use? You said you're a multi-op DJ, so do you have the same thing across the board for everybody, or everybody has their own individual setups? How do you guys
So
roll with that?
yeah, so for all of our DJs, it's a pretty basic setup. I mean, they're rocking 2 of the ZLX Electro Voice ZLX 15s. Some of them are newer, some of them are G2s, some of them are just the regular, the the Bluetooth ones. But
The BTs, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Um, Honestly, most of our mixers we're using like SX2s or SX3s, or I've got a couple of SXs as well. Like those are just kind of floating into our into our inventory, so we continue to use them. And then honestly, it's pretty simple. The DJs aren't going to like this, but it's just as simple as a gig bar, and
Okay.
that's the setup, right? Two
Yeah.
15 speakers on the sticks, and then a gig bar for the light show. Um, there's some ideas that we're going to do where we have more of like a higher end brand where we're going to bring out all the movers and uplighting for all that and all that stuff. But that's my setup. But
Okay.
the DJs that just go out for kind of that base level, they don't bring all that stuff.
Yeah, sure. So are you at a higher price point than everybody else, or are you at the same and you just bring out the different stuff, or how do you guys do it?
So yes, I will be this year moving
Okay.
forward. I wasn't previously, but yeah, they're going to they've got the Toad booth, and I've got the Rain 72s, the S11, and Evolve 50s for those.
Sure.
And of course, actually, I'm rocking your ADJ wash lights still.
Hey.
Back, I bought those from you back in Midwest DJs.
Yeah.
And then the Chauvet uplights for that. We've got some a lot of Chauvet lights, mostly for the uplights.
Okay.
But
So do you have so you said the ZLXs for all the DJs and then you rock the Evolve 50s?
yep.
Okay. So are you a they can only do a 120 person event? Are you that person, or are you a it depends on the room?
No, I'll still bring out the Evolves. It doesn't matter. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I've got the NLFX the platinum cables, the hybrid cables in there. It's just too easy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
um, I'll bring out the Evolves pretty much whenever I can in my kit. Uh,
Sure.
but we've got the EKX 18s for the subs and stuff too, if we want to use those. But we don't use those very often. They don't fit in a Honda Civic. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so for
I
the
can't believe you're getting a Toad booth in a Honda Civic. You're doing good. I don't know how you're doing that, but
no, I've got a Toyota Tundra with 388,000 miles on it right now. I love that.
that's a that is a that
Right.
is a
It's
that's
up
an
there,
impressive number.
right? It's up there,
388. But I've heard Toyota, you just can't kill them. They're just
right? The goal is 1 million, and then we'll consider an upgrade. They're half.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You got a little. This is just breaking it in right at this point. So you're talking about. So you have all those different things. Do you have like a favorite piece of equipment? Like, hey, I love these things. This is I can't live without this. I think everybody should have this. You have that one piece of equipment that that just kind of sticks out for you for.
I mean, I've gone through a couple different mixers. I bought that S11, and for me, I think that's going to be the last mixer that I have for a while. I don't see Pioneer or Alpha Theta coming out with something cooler than that I'm going to switch to.
Yeah,
That S11 is. I enjoy mixing on that one. So
yeah, no,
yeah.
that's all right. So I'm gonna I don't generally answer this question, but I like my favorite one, and you talked about it, I can't. I have a really hard time getting rid of it, which and not using it is just my Toad booth.
Right. Yeah, that's you.
It's just too I know it's not equipment and all that sort of thing, but man, it makes it so much easier to just roll in, roll out.
Exactly.
I'm actually because of the fact that I want to use my Danny Max booth more because I love that booth too, and Danny's an awesome guy, and I have a photo booth and everything too. I'm actually getting a custom road case made for my Danny Max, so I can just leave it set up. So it makes it so much easier. So I can just do the same things. I don't have to break it down. Don't have to do all that, and then I have it set up so I'll be able to slide my speakers right underneath it and close it all up. And
Yeah, the setup time's awesome with those. I mean, 15 minutes, you just wheel in, take the cover off, and especially with the hybrid cables, plug, and you're good to go, and you're already
yeah,
set. So
yeah, it's pretty fantastic. Fastest I've ever been out of a venue, basically just because I was sprinting because I had something I had to do the next day. I was loaded in my trailer in 9 minutes. It was great.
I did that 2 weekends ago. We had a car show for the Ford lot. They did a Mustang car show, so I was there DJing from 10 to 1:30, and then tore down and over at the venue by 2:15 to set up for a wedding that started at 4. So
Yeah,
super great.
it's wonderful, fantastic. So so having multiple DJs and all that kind of stuff, my guess your buying needs and all that kind of stuff are a lot different. So, like you said, you want everything to kind of be the same. You want all that kind of stuff across the thing. So, is it that you go about deciding kind of what to do when it's time to upgrade, all that sort of thing? Do you do it in one fell swoop? Just say, hey, you know what, we're switching to this, and we're just going to do this, or is it, hey, you know what, this doesn't work anymore, but I think this will work better, and just replace it as we go? How are we doing that?
Yeah, for the most part, we try to standardize everything. I mean, I've purchased a bunch of different microphones over the years, and just now, I think remember we put an order in with you for what 5 of the RE3s, and
Yeah.
yeah. So I've got a bunch of used microphones that I'm going to sell, and so keep an eye on my Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
But
Say Facebook Marketplace near you.
exactly, but yeah, the goal is just when we have that many people and when we're training that many people, if somebody calls and they're like, "Hey, the microphone's doing this," it's so much easier just to have one mic and across the board rather than have like 6 different brands and 6 different types. So
Yeah.
that's kind of why we did that. But honestly, I stuck with Electro Voice because it sounds stupid, but I bought my first set of speakers back in 2016, and the ZLX has that little LED indicator on the front for a limit,
Mm-hmm.
and that went out for whatever reason, that little LED. And I called Electro Voice and I said, "Hey, the light went out." And they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll overnight you a new speaker." And they just sent me a brand new speaker just because the LED light went out on that. So I mean, honestly, as far as like customer service goes, that's why I've just stuck with EV.
Yeah.
Right. So
I don't think that's a bad reason. Customer service goes a long way. Like you said, in your business, it's all referrals. And
right,
so, if they're doing that well and taking care of you, just for one speaker, and technically the lowest end speaker they make,
right.
that's a pretty good way to go about that. So,
And I think the ZLX does what we need it to do. I mean,
mhm.
yeah, if you could definitely get a lot, the EKX, the ETX, the Evolve, whatever. But for us, it comes down to like, is it profitable to buy everybody a set of Evolves and rock that? It just
Mhm.
makes sense for us to get the ZLX in a multi-op. But we're going to kind of shift gears and get to more of a kind of that higher end brand, and that's where we'll start putting in some of the bigger speakers and that type of stuff.
Sure. Okay. So are you shifting the whole thing, or are you gonna have like two different branches, like a budget brand and a?
We're going to go the two
Gotcha.
different branches part just because
Sure.
I think it's easier to differentiate. Just like I forget who it was. It was probably Alan Berg or one of the people that were speaking at Midwest DJs. Kind of compared it to like the Toyota brand versus the Lexus brand, um,
Yeah.
and then had the idea that even the most expensive Toyota is still more expensive than the cheapest Lexus. So kind of have some overlap with that. We'll probably do something like that.
Okay. Gotcha. Perfect. And so, do you have a piece of equipment that you don't currently have but you really want?
Well, it's more of the DJ furniture, right? So we've got a couple of
Okay.
booths, but yeah, as we get into that higher end brand, I think having a piece of DJ furniture is definitely sets you apart from a lot of the other Craigslist DJs that just show up with a rack mounted mixer and a laptop. So
Yeah,
uh,
for sure.
so I think the DJ furniture is definitely cool, whether it be the Bun Command Center, the Danny Max booth, but I really even like that like stereo T look that Horboard has.
Oh,
Um,
yep.
thought that one was pretty cool too, but that's only because I like showing off the turntables on there. So
Yeah. Did Have you seen Danny's the new real slim one that he had? Did you see that at Midwest?
I don't think I did. I have to check that one out.
Well, actually, I think he actually he might have debuted it at the no, he did, he debuted it at the, Marquee.
Okay.
So it's a lot smaller. And it's very super compact for easy setup, tear down, all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like his ceremony thing where if you're gonna rack stuff, you have to do it sideways.
Oh,
You
sure.
can't do it lengthways just because it's so much thinner. So I think that's a really cool option that you might want to look into. That's going to be more cost effective. And then the top isn't made per controller per thing. Hey, this is the size that it is. These are the controls that'll fit into it.
Right.
It'll fit up to a Rain Performer. So I mean, it'll get some good size ones in there. Um, but then you also don't have to worry about different sizes for different things. And if you do change, sorry, not to be a salesperson, if you do change mixers or consoles or anything like that, you don't actually have to change the top at all. So
Oh, nice.
something cool to look to. And then Joe Bunn also had a new one at DJX.
Oh, cool.
That's kind of it's that arch look.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of his final um, prototype that he had there. Like he's like, hey, this isn't final yet. There's still things that we need to fix, but this is 95% of what I want it to be. So again, there's some really cool things coming out with DJ furniture, and I think too, like you said, that's a really good way to differentiate yourself is getting those figured out.
Right.
Um, so are you gonna?
Transportation there, right? That's the hard part.
That's what I was gonna say. So how are you thinking that you're going to be doing the transportation? Just box trucks or rentals or?
Well, we've got a couple vehicles. I've got a trailer. We've got a well, we've got two box trucks. But so I think we'll probably end up just going that route with it. The other thing we want to get into too is I'm considering doing the marquee letter rentals. There's a couple of those and stuff like that. So that kind of made it easier to purchase the box truck because we're going to need that for those letters anyways.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll probably end up looking at, even if it's just a U-Haul rental, to get it or something like that. But
yeah,
because not all the DJs are going to have a truck and trailer, right? Unfortunately,
right. Yeah, and it's really expensive to buy one for everybody. So as I'm thinking about that as I'm going back into that. So whatever after, what are the different services you offer? So obviously DJ services. You said uplighting. Do you have other stuff that you offer too? The marquee lettering.
Yep, DJ service, uplighting, photo booths. The marquee letter is one that we're going to get into, and that's pretty much it for right now.
Okay.
I we also, I mean, the other part of the business is that we're a DJ Trivia affiliate, so we run 8 weekly games right now for that as well. So that keeps busy Sunday through Thursday.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and the weddings are pretty much Fridays and Saturdays usually. So
right. And do you have those? Are they set locations every week? Or are they different? Or
Yep. So we've got, like I said, 8 weekly games that all range from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we've got one on Sunday. So that's nice for when it's the the off season or whatever, right? So
yeah, still getting money in every week.
Yeah.
That is nice.
Yeah.
So getting back to the old flannel. Thanks for the recommendation to wear these, by the way. And yours is just a little less red than it needs to be. If you can zap that up for.
Well, it was at Walmart for $9, so I figured
that's pretty
I
good.
thought I could have got the official NLFX True Red.
Yeah, unfortunately, got to talk to Kat. She's the holder of the keys to those. So,
yeah. But Kat doesn't talk to me anymore since I just order all my stuff from you now. So.
Yeah, that was what was it? Right around Midwest. You're just like, because she was busy doing something, and so.
The backstory was I told Kat, I was like, I got an order that I'm going to place with you at Midwest DJs Live. And she was busy just chatting with somebody, and I was busy running around. So I think I just put the order in with you. And and then I went back and visited with Kat, and she just kind of gave me the stink eye. But she was teasing, of course. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's no hard feelings. It was just.
Oh, no, absolutely. And she's the best part about messing with her is she just gives it right back.
Right.
So she's not afraid to. So that's fantastic. So how did you first learn about NLFX, and what brought you over to the brand and all that sort of thing?
Yeah, I don't know, honestly. I was thinking about that, and it was probably one of like a Facebook group, or I don't know if it was. It might have even been Midwest DJs Live back at that last year we were at the Potawatomi. So that would have been I think 2018 maybe or 2019.
I think 2019.
Yeah, that might have been the first year I was at Midwest DJs Live, and that might have been where I first heard about you guys.
Okay.
But yeah, and then just, I mean, you guys are local. You're in Minnesota, so I figured, what the heck?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And so is there something specific that kind of brings you coming back? Because I don't mean to put your business out there, but you're a very loyal customer, and which we appreciate and all that sort of thing. So is there something that we do that keeps bringing you back, or is it just the name recognition, all that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to like any of the Facebook groups when people start asking questions about what microphone should I buy. And I had this experience myself, is looking at, which one do I get? There's so many different, frequencies, and I don't know which one's best for my market. And after a quick conversation with Ben, he was like, "Oh, you're here and you're using it here. You need this frequency." And so I think it was just that expertise and a little bit of the instruction that came along with the sale, not just trying to get the sale and you could tell that Ben was trying to get you something that's going to work and work well, and not just sell you something. And that's the vibe I got, and that's why I continue to do business with NLFX.
Which, and we appreciate that, and we appreciate the feedback on the things that we're doing well. So, if you thought that there was anything that we could improve on, what would that be?
I got nothing right now.
Okay. Normally everybody says, well, you could come down on price,
Well, but the prices are what they are. I mean, it's like I could come down on price too, but then I'd be out of business, right? So like, it is what it is. So
no, and we appreciate that. And obviously, we know that people, sometimes we can't be the lowest price, sometimes we can't be the thing, and sometimes it really does come down to, especially as a multi-op or things like that, price is a factor. Especially like when you're buying 5 microphones, like you said before, if you can save $150 a microphone, that's a lot of savings over the course of it. So we definitely understand that. And again, we thank you so much for your patronage, your repeat business, all that kind of stuff. The DJ trivia, that's something that I haven't dove into much. I actually talked to them, I think at Midwest 2023. I think they were there. And I talked to him about that and all that sort of thing, and kind of got the low down on that. So what took you towards that? That you're the first person that I've talked to that's kind of done that. So what kind of glutton for punishment were you? And
no, it's honestly kind of funny. I fell into it, really. I was honestly searching Craigslist for DDJ SX because I was looking to see if there was any used controllers out in my market.
Okay.
And DJ Trivia popped up, and it was a guy in my market who was looking to sell his affiliateship, because when you're an affiliate, you buy the area, right? You buy the rights to a certain county or certain area. And he was moving, and I think he was moving to Vegas. And so I ended up saying, yeah, let's strike a deal. And I bought that from him. Of course, that was at the end of 2018. So I had a solid 12 or 13 months of DJ Trivia before we had 2 weeks to flatten the curve and the world shut down. Yeah. So, right.
What happened? Was that 2020? What happened then? I heard something weird happened in the
March 17th. I think it was probably too much green beer from St. Patty's Day or something. But
that's what it was.
Yeah. But no, so we were out of business for a year for trivia or whatever. But that's fine. We had, I think when we closed down for the pandemic, we had like 3 weekly games, and we started back, and now we're at 8 or 9 weekly games. So 8 weekly games right now. So
that's awesome. So is that something? So the placement, do you have to pay for that every year, or?
No, you buy the rights to it one time, and they get some money though. They get a couple bucks per game and that type of stuff, and then they make their money on some of the supplies and some of the advertising stuff that you buy for them. But
sure.
And so there's a subscription for it. I mean, I don't exactly remember what it is, but it's
okay.
It's very reasonable. And so I mean, we charge about $175 a night for trivia, and I pay a host $25 an hour to run it. So there's profit at the end of it, and that works. So
yeah, that's awesome.
I actually find that it's a pretty good training ground for just anybody who needs to be on the microphone, right? So
100%.
Right. So yeah.
Well, even like just kind of thinking on your feet, because something might happen that you're not ready for, and if they can troubleshoot it and do all that kind of stuff, in a kind of a low pressure situation. Because I mean, you want the trivia game to go, but if it doesn't happen right on the exact minute, that's okay.
Yeah, it's a lot less stress than a wedding. Exactly.
100%. Because I think we've all been there at the wedding when all of a sudden something just cuts out and you just go.
Right. You know what it happened to me the other day? I was DJing a wedding, clicked in Serato to search for a song, and I must have hit like Shift Q or something, and then all of a sudden the track starts playing in reverse. You know what I mean? Have you ever had that happen?
I have not had it do it in reverse. I have. So I'm a virtual DJ guy, but I have done it so that all of a sudden I'm going, and all of a sudden it like goes to a cue point or something like that. And it just jumps forward or jumps to the beginning again. You're just like, all right.
In Serato, the keyboard shortcut to play the song in reverse is like Shift Q or I forget what it is exactly, but so then all of a sudden anyways, you just throw it on the other deck, hit play. It sounded like some messed up transition, and
Yeah.
People didn't care. It was fine, but like
Yeah, no, you just go with it.
exactly.
And luckily I'm fairly good at kind of knowing, hey, this is where I am in a song and things like that. And if it does, it's like, oh, I need to right here. Nah, it just kind of keeps going. So, it is what it is. Like, we all make mistakes. Obviously, it's going to happen. So, um, well, Brent, I really appreciate you stopping by. Oh, so one other thing about Midwest. So were you on the board? Are you still on the board now? How did that go?
2023. Yep, yep.
Okay.
I'm not this year, but that's okay. This year is my year to focus on family time and to not be as busy as I was last year. So
No, that's
that's
a good goal.
I've been doing this and grinding for going on 8 years now, 7 years or whatever. And my wife's awesome. She's the real hero behind the scenes because she's been a stay-at-home mom every Saturday for literally the last 7 years. And so
Yeah, mine too.
So my goal now is to sit back and to run things during the week and make sure everything goes good for Saturday, but be the guy that basically says go team on Saturday, and then that's it, right? And then
Rah rah shish boom ba.
yeah, exactly. And then maybe at midnight get back to the office and welcome people back in with cold beverages. I mean, that would be
Yeah. Who doesn't love a good Sprite at the end of the night? That's fantastic.
exactly.
Exactly. Well, again, Brent, thank you so much for coming by. We appreciate you being on the podcast. You want to give a shout out to anything if you want people to follow you or anything like that on social media or anything?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I mean, it's Ever After DJ on the socials if you wanted to check our stuff out. But yeah, no, it's good talking to you as always, and appreciate you inviting me on.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Make sure to check back next week. We'll have another one coming out. We appreciate you all for listening. Thank you so much. Take care.